Idea Maseronyana, idea Maseronyana, idea Maseronyana, Statuto Seronyana, Ritutse Seronyana, Ritutse Seronyana, Ritutse Seronyana, Statuto Seronyana.
Welcome to IDM. I want to welcome you all students, new students to the institution, and thank you for choosing IDM as your education and training provider. I need to talk about the times we are living through, which are unprecedented. We are living through COVID-19, which you are all aware of. And I want to urge you, before we talk about IDM, to respect all the COVID protocols. A lot has happened, lives have been lost. We want to complete our studies, so I urge you to respect all the protocols that are required by the Ministry of Health, like wearing masks. This is why I'm putting on my mask. We also need to respect social distancing. But coming back to our welcome, I'm saying thank you for coming to IDM. This is an institution of choice. We have a very long history, almost 46 years to date. So you have made the right choice. You are in the right hands, and there is a lot of people who have come before you who can testify for the quality of our service. I just want to talk to you about IDM, to sensitize you about IDM, and say IDM, like I intonated already, was established in 1974 as a tripartite agreement between Botswana, Lesotho, and Swaziland then. Nowadays it's called Eswatini. So we are a tripartite agreement between the three countries or the three governments, where we are providing training, research and consulting services. I also want to introduce you to our superior, who is the regional office. We have a regional office, which is the mother body, which presides over the three countries that I was talking about. So in a sense, I am saying we are IDM Botswana campus, and Botswana campus is made up of two campuses in Gaborone and in Francistown. And we are doing the same work in the two campuses. So briefly, I am saying we are coming here as a response to Botswana government to provide training, consulting and research. But I want to talk in much more detail about Botswana campus structure. I am speaking on behalf of the country director, who is the head of the institution, and I am also going to talk about our academic structure in general. Then you talk to the discipline coordinators in much more detail. I want us to realize that Botswana campus is made up of three operational disciplines, which are business and information resource management, human resource and organizational development, and public health. So all of you would fall into one of those disciplines. All our programs, all our research, all our consulting is structured into those three disciplines. I want you also to realize that within that discipline, there is a further structure. The structure we have in the discipline is headed by a discipline coordinator. Then we further move down the hierarchy. You will also find course coordinators. I want to emphasize this because it will come in handy in your learning. So you will have a course coordinator or a course director in our terminology who is directly responsible for your learning. You need to know who your course coordinator is. I also want you to realize that this is very important. Communication is key to our learning. When you are communicating, you need to follow the same structure that I've outlined, from your course coordinator through to the discipline coordinator, right up to the director of academic services, who in turn will report to the director or the country director. Then, talking about our business, I want us to realize that, like I said earlier, we will probably focus on the training aspect. When we talk to training, we need to realize that we have three modes of learning. We use blended learning, which combines online training as well as face-to-face. But this cuts across the three modes that I'm going to talk about. When we are welcoming you, you need to realize that there are first years who are coming for full-time classes. There are first years that are also coming for block release, which are our part-time courses. We also run evening classes. So all these people are covered in our welcome address. We want to welcome you all to IDM. We want you to realize that you have made the right choice, and I want you to end up getting value for your money. So in a sense, I'm saying we need to understand the academic life at this institution. The academic life can be confusing. It can also be difficult. Your orientation should clarify most of these issues so that you know that they are semesters to begin with. You will find I spoke about part-time, I spoke about full-time. So there will be an almanac for each group of people. They will come and talk to you about the details, but I want you to understand that full-time students follow a different almanac to block release students. The contents of our learning is the same. If you do Bachelor of Public Health full-time, the other one does it part-time, the end product is the same. But I want you to be very clear, because we are welcoming all of you to our learning, but there are certain requirements that are unique to full-time. There are certain requirements that are also unique to part-time. But all I would want to urge you is, I want you to realize that academic life is about dedication to your work. Academic life is all about commitment. Academic life is a challenge, particularly for the first years. I want to speak to the first years and say, some of you are coming from out of Gaborone. Gaborone life can be very difficult, can be challenging, you can be overwhelmed. I want to speak to you as a parent to say, please take responsibility of your learning. Please choose the right friends. Please talk to your lecturers when there are issues. They will talk to you about issues of student welfare. When you are faced with any issues, please, we have an office dedicated to student welfare. So in a nutshell, I am saying you need to know who to approach. Be careful of the friends that you meet. I need to call a spade a spade. Gaborone is awash with drugs. You can be influenced by somebody you meet in IDM to go the wrong route. Some students have not completed their studies because of some of those bad habits. So I want to mention it right now to say, please, your contract with IDM is all academic. You are here to learn. We want to support you in your learning. until you graduate. So please, let us dedicate ourselves to learning. Let us focus on learning. Let us be responsible. Remember, you have an individual contract with IDM. And when you graduate alone. And when you also fail to complete your academic studies, you will be alone. So please, like I said, understand and be responsible for your learning. Yes, we can have friends, but let the friends be good friends. IDM is a regional body, is a regional organization which has its presence in the 3 countries of Botswana, Lesotho, and Swaziland, modern-day Eswatini. IDM was concocted by the 3 governments. We will find the same operations or the same training, research and consulting, which happens in Botswana, happens in Swaziland, and in Lesotho. I want to emphasize that for governance, IDM is headed by the regional office, who is resident in Gaborone, but it is supervising the operations of the 3 campuses in the region. You will also find that we have common agendas through or directed by the regional office. For instance, graduation. Every year we hold graduations on a rotational basis, rotating between Botswana, Lesotho, and Swaziland. So there is a combined graduation every year. You will also find other events like our academic councils, which is a supreme body that assists or that directs the governance of the institutions, which meets very frequently between the 3 countries on a rotational basis as well. Every semester or every year we also hold inter-campus activities, sports. Remember, where there is learning, there must be healthy minds as well. So we also have inter-campus games which rotate between the 3 countries. This time it will be Botswana, the next time it will be Lesotho, and then we move on to Swaziland. What I'm trying to emphasize here is we are a regional body which interacts very frequently. Even when I was talking about Botswana campus, like I said to you, Botswana campus is made of 2 offices, Gaborone and Francistown. The Francistown campus, just like the Gaborone campus, the challenges that Gaborone campus faces are the same challenges that Francistown campus faces. So when we are welcoming students, we are saying students in Gaborone and students in Francistown are all welcome to the institution. We are facing the same challenges. We also have the same governance structure. We have a student representative council in Gaborone and 1 in Francistown. Our SRC is a very important part of management. Our SRC is now out of office, but we are expecting elections very soon. And we are thanking those that left office and would want to welcome the next or the incoming SRC after the elections to say, please come and work with us. You are our representatives on the student body. And we are also saying to the students themselves, please choose a responsible SRC. Please work with your SRC. Please support your SRC so that at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for the institution as well as for the student body. Let me also talk just briefly about some of our services. I've already hinted to say we are applying blended learning. We have a learner management system called Moodle, which we are using together with face-to-face. I also want to talk about our library facility. You will have direct contact with these people during orientation, but I want you to realize that when you are learning, there is research. When you are learning, you are given assignments. Part of our library is online, so you will be taken through all the necessary steps to induct you into our e-library. What I'm saying is, please, when you're not sure, seek assistance so that you submit your assignments on time, so that you don't miss deadlines. Because academic life is all about deadlines. Even your graduation, you only graduate when you have met specific requirements. So let me once again say welcome aboard. I know you will not regret your experience. We have made so many graduates out of this institution, and you are adding on to our already existing almanac. Please enjoy your stay and have a great time in IDM. Thank you.
My name is Ruben Zilwa, and I'm the head of business and information resource management in IDM. This is one of the faculties or departments within the Institute of Development Management. So I'm going to be taking you through what we do under this department. I'll be taking you through the various programs that are housed under this department. It is considered to be one of the largest departments in the institution. So we will go through each and every program so that we are aware of what is housed under this department. Perhaps maybe before I go into the programs, I might want to point out that for each program, we have what we call a course director. So you will have to follow closely the number of programs that I will cover, and bear in mind that for each one of those programs, there is a person appointed as a program director or a course director, just for administrative purposes. And this is the person who you will be in close contact with regarding your studies, your stay in IDM, particularly regarding anything that has to do with your program of study. You will contact that person, the course director. You will get to know these course directors in due course as you progress with your studies. The first program that I want to talk about is the accounting program. Under accounting program, we have a course, Bachelor of Public Finance and Accounting. This course is aimed at dealing with those students who want to study issues of public finance. So if there is anything that you want to do under public finance, then we have a Bachelor of Public Finance and Accountancy. It is different from other finance and accountancy courses because, as I've pointed out, it deals specifically with finance and accounting as it relates to public institutions. So mainly the people who we get are from the government, those who are working for public institutions. So the course is tailor-made to suit the needs of people who, upon graduation, will work in the civil service. And then we have another program, information technology program, which under it we have BSc Honors, IT Networking and Software Engineering. This is an information technology course. It's a BSc at bachelor degree. We offer this for a duration of 4 years. So if you start as a pre-service, you are going to do this course for 4 years. It basically deals with issues of networking and software engineering, that is development of softwares and cabling and connecting the different platforms. If you are interested in that nature of IT, because we know that IT is a very broad field. So within IT, we have a course that specifically deals with issues of networking, that is connecting different machines, cabling and developing of softwares. And then we have your normal diploma in information technology. This one takes 2 years. If you start as a pre-service. We have modules that are or subjects that we do for both students, that is students who are doing BSc Honors IT Networking and those that are doing a diploma in IT. There are some modules that they share, especially at first year. But then as the years progress, then they do their different modules that vary from one another. So that's our IT programs, BSc Honors, IT Networking and Software Engineering, a diploma in Information Technology. And then we have the business management programs. Under business management programs, we have the Bachelor of Arts in Travel and Tourism. This is one of our latest offering. Of course, we were responding to the needs in the market. So under this, students will learn issues of hotel management and any tourism related issues they cover under travel and tourism. We have had to ask ourselves many questions regarding this program, because as you know, now we are faced with this pandemic which has affected the tourism industry. But nevertheless, I think students still have an opportunity. Students who pursue this program, they still have an opportunity. We believe that COVID is not here forever. It will go away and people will resume their normal leisure and travel activities. So there is still a bright future when it comes to travel and tourism. Now, as I pointed out, it's a degree program and it lasts for 4 years, starting from first year up to the final year. We normally offer students an opportunity to go on a practical experience, because we also want to give our students a practical experience of how the real world looks like. We don't just want to give them theory and concepts and principles, but we want to produce students who are ready to enter into the market. And so all our degree programs, there's a period where students would go for attachments in various organizations for a period of a minimum of 3 months, so that they get the necessary experience. And with this BBA Travel and Tourism, we did have our students who went on the attachment. Most of them were, in as far as Bokasani, Bomaung, where really we consider to be the hub of our tourism activities. So it's quite an interesting and exciting program or course for those who love the outdoors and for those who love to interact with people from various cultures, various countries. I think it's really an exciting introduction to our bouquet of courses in IDM. Apart from the ones that I've talked about the accounting programs, I've talked about the IT programs, I've talked about business management programs. We also have what we call information management programs. Now these ones are different from IT. They are not necessarily IT based, but they also teach our students how to manage information. Now, IT is more on the technology side, but these ones, the information management programs, are more on the information and records. This is where we find courses like Diploma in Archives and Records Management, Certificate in Archives and Records Management, Degree in Archives and Records Management. Now, for these courses, students who are doing these courses, they will be mainly concerned with the management of information resources. These are courses that equip our students with skills to manage any type of information, really. It can be information contained in documents such as files. It can be information contained in electronic gadgets. It can be information contained in, digital media. We teach them how to manage information. And as I said, under this one, especially on our archives, records and archives management, we have it running from certificate level up to degree level. Of course, it has, depending on what level you are studying, there are varying requirements, entry requirements. But we cater for those who are working, that is in service, and we also cater for the pre-service, those who have never worked. The degree program is 4 years, especially if you are just starting from school, you are a pre-service. And then if you are an in-service, that is somebody who has been working, perhaps you have a diploma in archives and records, it only takes 2.5 years. So when you start your degree program, you would start at year 3, for instance, and then the semester would last for 2.5 years. Our diploma in records and archives, it lasts for 2 years, and then our certificate, it lasts for only 1 year. So as I said, these are some of our high demand programs, high demand courses, as we always have a huge number of students undertaking these programs. And then I move on to project management. We also offer courses under project management. We have diploma in project management, and we have the BSc, a Bachelor of Science, project management. Again, an interesting program, or these are interesting courses, because almost everything that you do really is a project. If you come to think of it, even as individuals, our lives should be, run as if we are undertaking a project. So anything, you own cattle, you own goats, you are a farmer, project management gives you the skills to plan and execute and even review the project, whatever project that you are engaged in. As I said, you may be a farmer at the cattle post. You need to know how to execute that farming project, because you need to approach it as a project. So it is also one of those modules or one of those courses that we see quite a number of people who are working, who want to acquire their project management skills. They come for this course. Most of them are sent, of course, by their employers where they work, but we also do cater for those who are freshers. That is, those who are they want to study project management right from secondary school. They can either do it at diploma level or they can do it at a degree level. Now remember, what I've said is from the beginning, all these programs that I've been highlighting are found under a department called Business Information Resource Management. So it's a department, if you want to use that word, that houses these programs that I've talked about so far. So far we have looked at five of these programs. Now, under this same department, that is under the Business and Information Resource Management Department, we also have what we call franchised programs. The programs that I've been highlighting are local programs. That is, these are the programs that we have locally developed, programs that we have locally registered with our accreditation body, that is the BQA. So they are local programs. But we also have partnerships internationally with other universities. And IDM is a center or is a partner to those universities. So we also offer their programs. We call them the franchised programs. Under the franchised programs, we have the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, that is the CIPS. It is commonly known as CIPS. So students can apply to study under these franchised programs, and one of the common program is the UNEA Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply. Now, this is where you learn all about procurement, tendering, purchasing, and things like that. It has to do with issues of procurement, really, buying of goods and services. Where do I start? How do I develop a tender? How do I float it? How do I evaluate tenders? And so forth and so on. So we know that every organization requires some, goods and services. At one point, we need to procure the goods and services, or even the materials that we use to run our businesses. So it doesn't matter what business you are involved in. It doesn't matter what organization you work for. There will always be a need to procure. So again, this one, SIPS, is one of those very important and valuable programs that we offer in IDM. It is important to point out that this is an international program. In other words, once you qualify as a Chartered Institute of Procurement practitioner, you can work anywhere. You'll fit almost in any country that you choose to work in. This is the the advantage about partnering with these international bodies, such as Yone SIPs. It gives you that versatility, and you have international appeal. You can be employed anywhere, as I've indicated. Now, under SIPs, we have divided SIPs with levels. It starts, the lowest level is level 2. So you have level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6. You cannot go to level 3 without having gone through level 2. So just as I've pointed out these levels, you need to satisfy a lower level in order for you to ascend or articulate to the highest level. As you can see, the highest level is 6. If you reach level 6, you are a guru in issues of procurement and supply. Now, at level 5, you can choose to articulate to level 6, which I've just pointed that is the highest level. But you can also choose to branch off to do another course. That is, after finishing level 5, you have an option of either ascending to do the highest in SIPs, level 6, or you can do another course that we call Bachelor of Supply Chain Management. It's a bachelor's degree program, and we also offer it in partnership with an international university, University of Bolton. So, upon completion of level 5, if you are not interested in doing level 6, you can do Bachelor of Supply Chain. Here you now focus on supply chain. You branch a little bit away from issues of procurement, and you focus specifically on issues of supply chain management. It's a BSc program or a BSc course, and as I said, we offer it in partnership with our University of Bolton. And then, apart from SIPs, as a franchised program, we have a AAT, Associated Accounting Technician. It's an accounting course, an accounting program, and at technician level. As the name suggests, it is only at technician level. Again, here we have different levels under AAT. We have level 2, which is the lowest. So when you start at level 2, and then you can move on to level 3, and then level 4. Now with AAT, the highest level is level 4, unlike SIPs. We have said with SIPs you can ascend even up to level 6, but AAT you only can do up to level 4. Now level 4 AAT is an equivalent of a degree. Once you have reached level 4 in AAT, you are equivalent to a person who has maybe done a degree in accounting, for instance. So, but the difference between this technician program and probably other accounting programs is that the AAT offers students with that practicality, because accounting is a practical subject, it's a practical course. So AAT is more practical than your normal Bachelor of Accounting program. So we have a lot of people who are already in the field doing accounts. They are the ones who normally do this AAT qualification. But a person who graduates with an AAT qualification would find it easy to adapt to the work environment than somebody who graduates with a Bachelor of Accounting. Having said that, you can choose to branch from AAT into Bachelor of Accounting. We also offer Bachelor of Accounting as a franchised. We offer it in partnership with Bolton. So when you complete your level 4 AAT and you want to do BAC Accounting, you also start at third year because you would have done covered most of the requirements for the degree. So you are not going to start at first year. You will start joining at third year to do your BA Accounting. And again, it is with the University of Bolton. So in our franchise, we have SIPS, we have AAT, we have a BA Accounting or Bachelor of Accounting. And then lastly, let me talk about one of our franchised. It's the NCC. It is also an international qualification. That is a qualification that is offered internationally. So we also have partnership with the universities abroad, especially in the UK, because it's a UK-based qualification. So under NCC, you can either do it on the business section or on the information technology section. So our NCC programs are divided into two, NCC Business and then NCC Information Technology. So under the business, of course, like the name suggests, you will be undertaking business modules, business courses, and doing business qualifications. But under IT, you would be undertaking information or IT-related courses. In business, we also have levels. We start at level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. Level 6 is the highest under NCC. But I'm happy to announce we have developed a program, and it is still with BQA that we want to call BA Business degree. It would be a Bachelor of Arts in Business, but it will be a local program. And this program will afford students the opportunity to, from level 5, NCC level 5, then instead of doing level 6, you can articulate into the business program, the one that I say we are still waiting for BQA to accredit it. So there will be an option for those who may not necessarily need to pursue level 6 NCC. And then for IT, still under NCC, we have two levels, level 4 and level 5. So these are the programs that are offered under NCC Information Technology. I think as far as BEM is concerned, or as far as the department that I'm heading is concerned, these are the programs that are found under this department: accounting programs, information technology programs, business management programs, information management programs, project management programs, which are all our local programs. And then we have franchised or international programs, SIPS, AAT, BA Accounting, and NCC. I think let me just pause here and thank you very much for choosing IDM. IDM has reputation in offering market-ready programs, and we are proud to say that our graduates, upon completion, they are easily absorbed and they don't struggle to gel into the marketplace. So you have made the right choice, and we promise that we will do our best to work with you and shape you into the professional that you want to be. Thank you very much.
Mapito se guanyana, Haiti.
Dumelang bagaetsho. My name is Jinx Tau. I am the Health and Wellness Coordinator at the Institute of Development Management. Before I start, I would like to ask for permission from you to allow me to talk with my mask off so that I can be audible, one, and secondly, so that I can allow for those who do lip reading to look at my lips and be able to read them. Thank you. We are going to talk about what we as IDM have done in as far as trying to fight the scourge which has befallen us, which is COVID-19, and the measures that we as an institution have put up in place in trying to limit the spread amidst the institution. The first thing that we did as an institution was, after the first lockdown, we fumigated classes, offices, hostels, toilets, walkways, passages at the main campus, as well as the West Campus, SOS campuses, and Block 8 campuses. We extended the same service to IDM Francistown Satellite Campus, as well as IDM Sarowe. We also had to do what we term re-fumigation at the beginning of the semester in August. The second thing that we did as an institution in a bid to try and limit chances of one contracting the coronavirus was in our midst was to hire 8 SHE officers as well as 4 additional SHE representatives whose responsibilities are, 1, to register every student who attends at IDM in the IDM National COVID platform, 2, who screen them every morning as they come in by checking their temperatures using the infrared thermometer, and 3, recording the findings in the platforms that are provided. The other thing that we did in a bid to try and limit the chances of one contracting the coronavirus while at IDM was to put in strategic location alcohol-based hand sanitizers in front of every door around the campus. And then we also provided hand washing basins which are foot operated so that one can wash their hands frequently around the campus, because we place them in strategic places around the campuses, both at IDM main campus, West Campus, and other campuses that I mentioned earlier. The other thing that we did in a bid to try and limit the spread was to put up posters around the campus with messages on COVID. Messages such as wearing of masks consistently and always and correctly. Messages such as social distancing, messages such as proper sneezing and coughing with your flexed elbow, and as well as messages on what numbers to call in cases of emergency. We also orientated every classroom when they started at the beginning of the semester. Not only did we do classes, we also did the lecturers, the staff, admin staff, support staff, and extended the service to the neighbors who are the Botswana National Productivity Center. We orientated them on COVID protocols and the pandemic in general. The other thing that we did in a bid to try and reduce the chances of one contracting the coronavirus whilst at IDM was to reduce the number of tables in every classroom. For instance, a class that carried 40 class tables was reduced to either 30 tables and chairs or 20 to 30, depending on the size of the classroom. That was in a bid to try and practice social distancing. The other thing that we did as an institution was to introduce disinfection by general cleaners, general assistants, who we call cleaners, to disinfect after every 2 hours. And then we also introduced what we term e-learning platforms so that we reduce the number of face-to-face contact with lecture to students. We also introduced Zoom meetings for lecturers and staff in general, so that instead of them having gatherings while they meet, instead they meet through the Zoom platform. There was also the introduction of working from home for staff who especially are sharing offices that are actually very small. We also encouraged everyone, students and lecturers and the general staff, to stay home if they happen to have signs and symptoms of flu and work from home but seek medical attention. There was also the introduction of sick bays around all campuses, whose function was to hold a patient while waiting for help from the medical team. The other thing that we did was to make sure that we enforce after a while in every classroom to check whether or not lecturers and students in every class are compliant. And we did the needful, which was to encourage them to practice social distancing. That was the first part. What now do we as an institution expect from you as students while at IDM in as far as fighting the pandemic is concerned? Your part now is one, firstly, as you enter every institution, to make sure that you register in IDM's COVID-19 platform, so that when we do contact tracing, your name is in the system. The next thing that we expect from you as an institution is to make sure that you report to every screening point every time you enter the campus for purpose of checking your temperature using the infrared thermometer. If it so happens that your temperature exceeds 37.5, we expect you now to go to the sick bay, whereupon we are going to confirm that temperature reading with the contact tracing, with the contact thermometer from the sick bay, and then we'll take it from there. And then what else do we expect from you as a student while at IDM? We expect you to consistently and properly wear your mask. We do not expect someone to be having their masks hanging below the chin at any given time for your safety and the safety of others. And then we also expect you to frequently wash your hands using the soap and water provided in strategic locations and in bathrooms around the campus. And furthermore, use hand sanitizers with 70% alcohol base. The other thing that we also encourage you whilst you are around us is to practice social distancing. We do not expect to find you at any given time in group discussions. We do not want to expect you queuing with gatherings. We expect you to at least be 1 meter to 2 meters apart from each other. We expect you as an institution, as a class, to choose class representative who will be responsible for stopping the lessons and reminding the lecturers to adjourn, to allow for a mandatory 2-hour health break, while at the same time paving way for the cleaners to do the disinfection, which happens after every 2 hours. And then the last thing that we expect from you is to remind others to obey health COVID protocols. In other words, we expect you to be your brother's keepers. I would like to say, I, as an institution, would like to pledge that I will play my part as an institution in providing you with the necessary measures to minimize the possibility of you contacting the coronavirus whilst in our care. And I would like to urge you, on the other hand, to play your part by meeting me as an institution halfway by complying to the global, the national, the institutional health protocols of COVID, so that we together can defeat this monster. With that, I'd like to thank you very much. Ke a leboga.
Ithutse serwanyana sa thuto idea mo serwanyana.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cynthia Mhozia. I'm the head of HR and OD, which is Human Resource and Organizational Development. This is a department that is hosting 5 programs. The 5 programs are education, office management, human resource management, early childhood education, and public administration. We have 2 campuses, which is the campus in Gaborone and the one that is in Francistown. But as time goes on, we will also open up the Seroe campus, which is also going to be making it easier for the Northerners to be able to access education in IDM. I encourage you to take your studies seriously because everything starts with you. We have very well-trained personnel that will take you through all your needs as students. We have also resources such as the library that is going to also give you information that you will need for your study. Thank you so much for choosing IDM.
Welcome to IDM Library Orientation. We encourage our clients to always put on a mask when they come to visit the library. I'm going to take off my mask now. My name is Khalifele Bigman. First, I'm going to talk to you about our library mandate. At IDM, we provide access to academically credible knowledge. We do this by offering information literacy training in order to ensure that our clients are research savvy. Our clients at IDM Library are our bona fide undergraduates, graduates, IDM staff, and stakeholders. At IDM Library, we have the following resources at our disposal. We have both print and digital. We have scholarly books. We have journal articles. We have newspapers. We have research projects and multimedia. We also have research databases that we subscribe to as a library. These research databases include Emerald Insight, EBSCOhost, ProQuest Central, and ProQuest eBook Central. The following are the services that we provide at IDM Library. We provide circulation. We also have information and reference and information. We have literature searches. We have digital document delivery. We also have photocopy. We also have e-alerts and subject liaison. At IDM, we always ensure that we comply with the COVID-19 protocols. Therefore, when you come to IDM Library, you should make sure that you will put on your mask. And because of COVID-19, we have suspended borrowing of library books until further notice. We have also ensured that library clients, when they come to visit the library, they sit 2 meters apart from one another. After every reading session, which is 2 hours, clients are encouraged to leave the library, and then there is a 30 minutes break for disinfection and cleaning of the surfaces. In conclusion, at IDM Library, we always strive to provide our clients with the best information that we have, and we encourage our clients to talk to us by contacting us at our Gaborone campus telephone line, which is 361-2106 or 361-2109. We can also contact our Francistown campus at 241-0 8300. You can also email your queries at our email address libraryb@idmbls.ac.bw. That is libraryb@idmbls.ac.bw. Thank you.
My name is Kiora Setlara. I'm the sports coordinator. Let me remove my mask for me to be audible. Our department is a student-centered department mandated to enhance out of the classroom activities through quality support services and programs. And as a department, we exist to create vibrancy outside the classroom through coordinated extracurricular activities in line with sound policies. Our functional areas are in line with HRDC norms and standards. And our first functional area is sports culture and recreation. Under this division, we give students a platform to explore their unique talents through sporting and non-sporting activities. As an institution, we are an affiliate member of Botswana Tertiary Student Sports Association, Botesa, and we had registered about 11 traditional coaches participating in Botesa Bracket B Games, Botesa National Championship, Cooksa Games, and then at international level, our students also have an opportunity to participate in FISU Games to be hosted in Chengdu, China by next year, August. And I'm very confident to say that our students are doing very, very well at national level. And one of our students based at Francistown campus recently just won the award for FNB Botesa Athlete of the Year and Sportswoman of the Year. So really, we are doing very, very well as an institution. And you can see, if you can go around the institution, you'll see that we have good arts of sports facilities. We also have an outdoor gym facility at West Campus. So as an athlete, you enjoy your stay here at IDM. On another note, as an institution, we also organize annual inter-campus game whereby we see all our campuses from Eswatini, Lesotho, and our students from Francistown, with our students participating in this big mega event. We could have organized these games the beginning of this year, but we postponed them because of the outbreak of COVID-19. Our second functional area is student leadership and governance. Student leadership and governance form an integral part of participative governance and democracy. And non-positional leaders and whom we refer as meritorious leaders and positional leaders formerly known as the SRC. We develop them, we support them as the institution. We organize SRC leadership training for them by inviting our key stakeholders, especially the TEF, to present on issues of sponsorship. BK also to present on accreditation issues, and other key stakeholders to address other pertinent issues like Botswana Police, to touch on issues to do with student strikes. As you know that student strikes, they usually crop up in our educational landscape. So really, by calling the stakeholders, by calling the stakeholders, it will help us to address some of these issues. As a department also, you also work hand in hand with the elections committee to organize SRC elections. And on another note, as an institution, we give the SRC a platform to raise student grievances, one through quarterly SRC management meeting, two through academic board meetings whereby they sit with other SRCs from Eswatini, Lesotho, and Francistown to sit with the board of directors to deliberate on strategic issues and raise their grievances. We also organize SSC meetings, student staff consultative meetings, whereby we see representatives of all the departments for students to raise their issues to be addressed. Not only that, another focus area is alumni engagement. Under this division, we strengthen and foster our relationship with our graduates by creating opportunities for employment through IDM Alumni Association and sharing job opportunities through alumni page on Facebook. We also do tracer study just to find out how many of our graduates are employed, even to get some of the ideas from the industry, so that going forward we can panel beat our programs, so that our graduates in future can be absorbed by the industry. Thank you very much. I wish that you'll enjoy your stay here in IDEA. And don't forget to wear the mask. And lastly, I want to urge you that all the students that are governed, including the SRC, that are governed by the newly revised constitution and student handbook, and the student community is subjected to follow the rules and regulations for the institution, and don't be on the wrong side of the law. Thank you very much. You are welcome.
Hello everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present to you a short brief from IDM Accounts Office. My name is Mr. Homolemo Masilo. And for the benefit of everybody who will be looking or watching this video, I would prefer I take off my mask. Before I start with my brief, let me thank you for having chosen IDM. Because with IDM, we are going to receive one of the best quality education in Botswana. You're going to come out of this institution having been developed fully to the requirements of the market out there. Like any other service of high standards, there is an expectation that you need to pay for that service. IDM has got two types of students. We've got two types of students in terms of sponsorship. Those who are sponsored and those who are self-sponsored. Those who are sponsored typically are those who are sponsored by Department of Tertiary Education, the government, government departments, government parastatals, companies. For those, the payment plan or what is required from them by IDM on behalf of finance is that they should come with something that proves that somebody is taking care of their tuition fees. With the DTEF students, they will come with a sponsorship letter from the department. With others will come with those letters coming from, be it the parastatal, the organization they are working at, the company they are working at. That is enough. When we are done that, what is remaining now is that the finance department will now deal with your sponsor only when it is required that we need to clear something with you. That's when we might give you a call. But the payment plan that I'll be going to now will not be directed to you. So for self-sponsored students, the payment plan that we have as an organization is specifically for you. Our academic periods run as an academic years, but we have made it flexible so that it's much easier for you to pay the tuition fees. Our academic years are divided in two, so our tuition fee for the year will be divided in two. Then you are expected to pay only for the semester that you have registered for. That means, if I was to give an example, our year one programs, a degree, and normally the full year fee will be around 22,500. But for the first semester, we'll expect you to pay half of that. And we've got flexible payment plans, which are: one, you can pay the whole amount of the semester at the beginning of as you register. Let's say the semester fee is 11,250. If you've got the resources, you can pay the 11,250 once off. If you can't afford, most of that now, we are in a much tighter situation financially because of the COVID pandemic. We will allow you, or will expect you, to pay 40% of the semester fee. That will allow you to have access to all the resources. But then, going forward, we'll expect you to make a payment arrangement for the 60% remaining. And normally, to make it easy for both parties, we would like you to agree to a payment plan through a platform called Real Pay. This is where you come to the office after paying the 40%, and you fill a form where you agree, or you commit yourself that you're giving IDM the right to deduct money from your bank account on such and such a date. And like I said, normally is that 60% that is remaining, you pay over 2 months, 2 months installments. That will be it. Ideally, we'll expect you that by the time we get to the examinations, all students have paid their fees. As we've already said, this is a product of high quality. Along the way, we've got to spend money to maintain those high standards. So we will not expect everybody that at the time you are supposed to be writing your exams, we're still running behind you, saying and reminding you that you still have some fees to pay. That will more likely disturb you on your studies, and is something that we don't want to happen. Payment arrangements for IDM are in such a way that you can deposit money at the bank at your own convenience. We will see that payment in our bank statement, but you still need to come to the office or to come and get the receipt. Or possibly you can call the office, we make arrangements, we email that receipt to you. And please let me make it very important, very clear to you that it is very, very important that you keep your receipts, because issues of accounts, your receipt might not appear in your account going forward, and you need proof from your side that you have paid. And also, when you are doing your deposit at the bank, there is where they say reference. When you reference, you reference with the name of the student. Even if it's your parent who is paying for you, there is a line where I think you have to put who is depositing or paying the money. But on the reference, is specific for the student, for the person who is the student to IDM. This is very, very important because it helps finance or accounts department to allocate the money to the right people. So we don't want situations where you have paid and we call you, inconvenience you at your own time saying you have not paid. The second option, you can come to the office and pay. IDM accounts office only accept money electronically. You come with your card, we swipe it on our machine, bank machine. We don't take cash for issues of security for both parties. If you were to keep lots of monies in the office, that would be a security threat to us. Even for you students, if you are to go to be going across town from one place to the other with lots of monies in your pocket, we know the situation how it is at the moment. That will be not very prudent of you to do. So that's why we are saying deposit the money at the bank, or you come to IDM with the money in your account so that it is safe. We have students that will normally, depending on different reasons, they might decide that they are not going through with the programs. Normally it depends at the stage that you are withdrawing from the program. If you are withdrawing at your own terms before the program starts, we're going to charge you 40% of the monies you have paid us. That's administration fee, because the bank will charge us for those transactions when the money is coming into our account, and the bank will also charge us transaction fees for the monies when we are refunding you. If you are withdrawing on the basis of the class have failed to make the numbers, there we are going to refund you your whole monies, because you are not at fault. It is an internal issue within IDM. We have failed to make the numbers. What else? We've got two types of programs that we are running. We've got programs for IDM that are internal programs. Our internal programs created and taught within IDM. Those ones, they do not have examination fees. The examination fees are input or are accounted for in the whole program tuition fees. So you are not expected to pay anything outside the tuition fee, the registration fee, and the application fee. But we also have franchise courses. These are courses that we are running with other professional bodies, other academic institutions. We've got AAT, Association of Accounting Technicians, we've got SIPS, we've got NCC, which are all UK-based professional courses. And we also have courses that we run with other UK universities, like Bolton University. Those, the payment structure is more influenced by the payment policy of those professional bodies or the universities. So you might find that it might be outside the 40-30-30. And because IDM is expected to pay those institutions at the time or as it is required by those institutions. For example, you will have examination fees that you are expected to pay to AAT or SIPS. you've got membership fees that were expected to pay to these professional bodies. So those are not monies to IDEM. And IDEM being a good institution, we have made arrangements that we can collect monies on behalf of those institutions and later on pass the money to those institutions or professional bodies. And maybe I should very much emphasize that the students for these professional bodies, they should very much try to educate themselves and familiarize themselves with the website of these professional bodies so that they will know the timelines with regard to these monies that have to be paid to these institutions. Because if you fail to pay as it is required by these professional bodies those times, to keep those timelines, it is not the responsibility of IDEM. It will be at your fault. You will lose your membership if there is a fee that needs to be paid because you have not paid the membership at the correct time. IDEM will not take the cost. If you do not pay your examination fees at the right time, IDEM, there is no how IDEM can force you to be in the examination room when you have not paid at the right time or you have not paid at all. So IDEM in that regard will not be at fault. But these are not issues that we want because you are a client and you are a client also to that professional body, and we want to give you the best customer service that we can. But in this thing, we've got to be together. We keep on giving reminders out there for the deadline through our offices, different offices, that the deadlines for these particular payments is this, the deadline for these particular payments is this. But please learn and appreciate to be to know the timelines for the particular programs that you are in. We've got the master's program that is run through Bolton University, masters in supply chain and masters in project management. In those instances, because it runs outside the normal 1 year, 2 semesters is 18 months, it got a different payment plan. We yet to finalize it, but what I know and I understand and you should understand is that it is in blocks. If you are doing 4 papers, we are expected that those 4 papers, you finish paying them before you can move to another block. That's the arrangement we've got with this Bolton University, and it's very difficult for us to have a payment plan outside that because it will put us in a disadvantageous position in that Bolton will have specific payments, specific dates at which we need to pay some monies to them, be it franchise fees. They've got specific dates that we need to relay or pass the monies to them. So it will be very difficult for us to pay Bolton when you students, you have not paid IDEM. So these are the things that we should be aware of. These are the things that we should fully understand. And even if you do not understand something from this good movie, you are very much welcome to come to IDEM, be it accounts or through these program administrators. Ask the right questions. We'll be more than happy to answer you. The other thing that I should very much emphasize that I almost forgot was that when you are doing your payments outside IDEM, please do not use ATMs. Do not deposit monies in ATMs because normally the ATMs do not have the line where you put the reference, and it's also very expensive. So the cost for doing that is charged IDEM, we will pass it to you students. But you don't want to make life more difficult, knowing that it is already difficult. So when you are trying to improve yourself, develop yourself, we should try by all means to cut some of these other costs. Please do not deposit in bank ATMs. There will be no reference. That makes it very difficult to know who the money is coming from. And being that the case, then there's the inconvenience of IDM or me having to call you saying you owe me and I'm not gonna allow you to write the exam while you have paid the monies. So this is a situation that we don't want. We want you to, like we have already said, you come in here, and when you come in here, we are going to grow your mind. You want to be in a special kind of environment that allows that to happen, not be inconvenienced by false costs that you are owing when in actual fact you are not owing. And also because in the process trying to find if the money has already come in and allocating that money, that takes time, and time is money. And that being the case, you might have to pass that cost to you, which will add on to your tuition fees, and it's something that we don't want to see happening. I've talked about the payment plan, being that an outright payment of the full tuition fee, which can be for the semester or for the whole academic year or for the whole program, or the second option where you've got to pay 40% before you can register, or the 40% that allows you to register, and then you pay the remaining 60% in 2 installments over 2 months. But looking at the environment that we are in at the moment, there's no how as an institution, and a good institution which encourages people to best develop themselves in terms of education, we can disregard the effects or the negative effects of COVID-19. These payment plans are not cast in stone, as both parties that have got the best interest of each other, we can always sit around the table and discuss how the fees for the semester or the payable fees can be paid going forward. But I must emphasize that whatever we agree, whatever payment plan outside the payment plans that I have said or I have discussed, all the tuition fee for that particular semester, they've got to be paid before we reach the time to write the examinations. I think I'm clear, and I think it will find a win-win situation for both parties.
Hello, good students. Let me welcome you to IDM once again, and I want to hope that you have already now have settled, and it's wonderful to meet you. My name is Mr. Pile, a manager from Instructional Technologies. Before I continue, so that you can hear me properly, I would like to remove my mask. So let me just remove my mask first. Thank you very much. We need to follow the protocol, the COVID protocols. So with that, guys, like I said, I'm from Instructional Technologies. As you know, IDM is striving to offer quality education. And in order to ensure the quality of education, we understand that technology is very, very important to enhance the quality of our education. That is why we have a department called Instructional Technologies, where we deal with all the technologies that is needed to support you as a student. So in other words, as you become an IDM student, you are going to interact a lot with some systems. I want to appreciate the fact that most of you, you are from secondary school, and we acknowledge that you guys don't know much about systems, and we are here to say that welcome to the fourth industrial revolution. You are going to be part of the transformation, and I want you to applaud yourself for that. This is to say that though it is a new thing, it is very important for you to be part of it as the whole world is moving into this technology. We understand that as you are introduced into this issue of technology, there is what we call a technophobia, which most of you are going to be maybe experiencing. We are here to really bring you on board and take you through. That is why I want to say that this is not an alien. It's something that you need to appreciate, and we will definitely take you through that. Having said, I am going to explain what really instructional technology entails. We have a system called the Secretary. Our Secretary is an LMS, which they call a learner management system. Learner being you. It's a system that manages you as a student. It starts managing you as the first time you get into IDM. You get registered through the system. I believe most of you have already registered into the system. You remember you had to fill up the form and to become part of IDM, and you did that online. That particular system is the one that I'm talking about right now. So in that particular system, does not only end at a registration point, it also takes care of managing the content that you are going to be using for your learning. This means you will be able to access your learning material, your notes, your slides, and even attending the online classes. So I hope you guys have heard something like online classes. You're going to have, in your timetable, you will have a physical class as well as an online class. And I know that most of you are wondering how do they access the online class. So as long as you have already registered, you are in your system and you can see your modules. In every module, you will find a link which will be written, click here to attend your online class. They call it a big blue button. It's another system which we use to conduct online classes. So we also have in the same system, under your modules, you will find your attendance. Like I said, you will find your assignments, probably everything that you need in a class. So there is nothing you're going to do whatsoever in school without outside the system. Even your library, you will be able to access your library through the same system. So as long as you are able to log into your Secretary system, then that it is one-stop shop where you access everything you can think of. I want to emphasize the fact that we would like to encourage you or to make you aware that it is very, very critical that whatsoever that has to do with your learning, you are not supposed to get it through any other means except through Secretary. Because the system is meant to, like I say, manage you as a student. It will check how many times you get into the system. For example, if you are supposed to be having a class at 7:30 in the morning, the expectation is that you should be able by 7:30 you should have logged into the system. Otherwise, where do you get the notes if you have not logged into the system? So all those transactions or all those transactions that you will be doing in the system, they will be used to analyze and to judge your learning. That means the more you access your system, the more points you will gain. For example, the system can tell you that in a module called ICDL, you got only 20%. That means you have not accessed the module adequately. So the frequent you access the module, the more the system will be able to tell statistically, or you are really engaged into the module. You know, it is very difficult as a teacher to know what a student is saying. There are some students who just come in school and then they are only seen during the time of exam. And mostly such students, when they have failed, it becomes difficult to really track and see what could have gone wrong for the student to fail. Like I say, the system manages you. So by you accessing the system at the right time and frequently and accessing your notes, the system will keep all that track, and then it will be able to speak for you if any situation occurs, or maybe somehow you failed, or maybe somehow you have submitted your assignment and the teacher have not marked your assignment. Somehow we simply go to the system and track all that. Check when did you submit your assignment, how many classes have you managed to attend, how long did you spend in your online class. We know there are some students who might want to get into the online class and quickly run away and leave the class on. The system will also track to check if you are active in the class. So there is quite a lot to talk about, but in this orientation, I'm just introducing you to the system, and we have some online orientations that are going on every day on your system, on the same system. If you go to your site home, you will find a link that talks about the first year orientation. There is a link there which you have to click at 7 p.m. every day for you to attend the online session for our department, because we understand, like I say, we know that this is technology. It's not easy to grasp everything at once, and you need to do a lot of practical. So in that orientation, that is where we are taking you through hands-on for you to know how to submit your assignments, how to access your notes, and do so many other things that you will be engaged in your course. So with that, I want to believe that we will meet during the online trainings, and we will also go into your classes to give those trainings. With that, I will leave it there and hope to see you on our continuing orientation online. Thank you very much.
Dumelang bagaetsho. Welcome to IDM. I'm putting on my mask for the purposes of observing COVID-19 conditions. But for the purposes of this presentation, I'm going to put it aside so that we may clearly hear and see each other. My name is Christina Nyati. I'm the assessment coordinator at IDM, and I'm here to speak about the assessment function. The mandate for our function is to facilitate and coordinate all assessments in IDM. That is both formative and summative. Formative, we're taking our tests, our assignments, and any other work that we do during the course of the semester. And summative, we're taking our examinations that we do at the end of the course. They happen at the end of each semester. But before we can get to talking about examinations and CAs, I would like to clear something that is usually of concern to the students. It relates to recognition of prior learning. We do recognize that some of you come here and you have done some learning in some place, especially those that are coming through in service. And they would want to be exempted in some of the modules or some of the material that they've covered. Exemptions are applied for at admissions at the point of entry. We've had situations where students will come at the end of the semester, they've not written a module or an exam, and they're saying, because I've done this module elsewhere, but they've not formally requested to be exempted from the module. Therefore, I'm encouraging you that if you look at your course outline and you find that there's some program or some course or some module that you have covered elsewhere, you need to contact admissions and apply for exemption. Don't assume that because you have just put your application, you are exempted. Your exemption application will be verified through the specialists, and they need to give you confirmation in writing that indeed you have been exempted. If you have not received any confirmation in writing that you have been exempted, then you need to continue and do the module. Otherwise, you'll be deemed to have failed the module. Therefore, I encourage you to contact admissions office if you feel that there is some module that you need to be exempted in. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is what I said. We do continuous assessments and summative assessments. They both contribute to our overall final module mark, which is the 100% that you need at the end of the day. The continuous assessment contributes 40% of the 100%, and the summative assessment, which is your exam, it contributes 60% of your overall module mark. Now let's start with the continuous assessment. The continuous assessments happen during the course of your learning. These are your tests, your assignments, your group work, your portfolios, your presentations, your quizzes that your lecturers may give you during the course of your learning. They are primarily facilitated by your course or module lecturer, but we still oversee them as assessment office, and if should you encounter any issues in relation to that, feel free to come to our office so that we may be able to assist you in whatever way we can. But make sure that you take part in all assessments that are given during class, because they contribute to the overall performance. You need a minimum, for you to sit for the exams, you need a minimum of at least 2 continuous assessments. And that minimum needs to amount to at least 15% of the 40 that contributes to the 100. If you have 15% but it's just one piece of work, it's considered incomplete. If you have 2 but they're less than 15%, then it's considered incomplete. Therefore, do everything you can to make sure that you have a complete CA before you attend the examination. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to sit for the exam, and should you sit for the exam without the CA, then your results will be deemed null and void. Now we're going to talk about the examination, which constitutes 60% of your overall module mark. The examinations are facilitated primarily from our office. Your module lecturers don't do much during the examinations. Therefore, anything that relates to examinations, please refer the queries to us. You can do that through your course director, your class rep, but it is the primary responsibility of each student to make sure that all their issues are resolved with our office. Make sure that the information that needs to reach us reaches us in time. Now, when we talk examinations, they start right at the scheduling of the exams. Usually a month before the examinations, we will put out a draft timetable. This timetable is for you to see if all your modules are accounted for, to see if your modules don't clash, and for you to familiarize yourself with the venues where your assessments will be taking place. We usually use IDM Main Campus, we use IDM West Campus, we use Botswana Open University. Therefore, you need to familiarize yourself with those places, having seen the timetable. When the draft is put out, it's put out for all stakeholders, you students included, and your lecturers included, to bring comments to our office where we need to rectify or where we need to make changes. For instance, if your modules are clashing and you're writing 2 modules at the same time, you need to inform us in time so that we can resolve the clash. But there will be cases where there's a clash because maybe you are repeating a module that is for another class and it's not for your class. In cases like that, sometimes because we can't resolve the clash, You will be quarantined from the first exam, then you write the next exam in the next session. That means it is possible for you to sit for 2 examinations in a day. We do everything we can to make sure that you sit for 1 exam in a day. But let's talk about admission into exam attendance. To be admitted into the examination room, first of all, you need to be a registered student of IDM. Your name needs to appear in the exam register. You will not be handwriting your name. It needs to appear in the exam register. Number 2, you need to have a valid student ID. I'm not talking about the national identification card, I'm talking IDM student ID, because that is what says you are an IDM student. Anybody has a national ID, anybody can come and claim that they're an IDM student and want to sit for the exam. Therefore, when the invigilators insist that you produce an IDM student ID, it is for the purposes of verifying that indeed you should be sitting for that exam. Besides those 2, you need to have an 80% class attendance. You might wonder, why is assessment concerned about my class attendance? Learning has to happen before you can be allowed to take your summative assessments. And what shows us or verifies to us that learning has happened is your class attendance and your complete continuous assessment. If your class attendance is less than 80%, then learning has not happened according to IDM regulations. Therefore, you need to have 80% class attendance. If you are missing classes, don't be surprised or shocked when you are not allowed into the examination room. And make sure when you attend classes, you make sure that when the registers are ticked, your name is ticked, because that is the only thing that will verify to us that indeed you have been attending your classes. The other thing that you need to have done is that you need to have adhered to your payment terms with finance. Usually before the exam, we give finance office our registers to vet all the students that are to sit for exams. If you are not adhering to your payment terms, then finance would ask us to bar you from sitting the exam. And during the exam, or on the day of the exam, we will refer you to accounts office. And with that time that you're going to take to go and try to resolve your issue, the exam will be ongoing. The chances or the possibility of you missing the exam is very high. Therefore, I encourage and urge all of you to make sure that prior to the exam, make sure that all your issues with accounts are in order. If you need to seek permission from them to sit for the exam, then do it prior to the exam. Don't do it on the day of the exam. The other thing that also qualifies you to enter the exam room is adherence to time. If you come to the exam room 30 minutes late, we will not allow you into the exam room. You are only allowed into the exam room if you have come in time, or at least at most 30 minutes, because after 30 minutes we will allow other students to start leaving the exam room, those that have finished, and then no other student will be allowed into the exam room. The other thing that is of importance that I need you to understand and to know is that we don't allow unauthorized material into the examination room. Unauthorized materials, we are speaking about your cell phones, your bags, or any other thing that you are carrying. And unfortunately, because we don't have storage within the exam room, when you bring your bags or your cell phones, we usually provide a space at the front of the exam room where you leave your bags and your cell phones at your own risk. Therefore, I encourage you, don't bring your valuables to the exam room. We've had cases where students' phones have been taken by other students because we are unable in an examination room of 200 students to identify each bag. You'll be sitting at the back of the exam room. The student who is sitting at the front, they've seen that there's money in your bag, there's a valuable phone in your bag, there's a tablet in your bag. They might, as they leave, take your bag with them, and we would not know. If you insist on having your phone with you during an exam, that accounts as an exam misconduct and an academic misconduct, and your examination will be null and void. So let's assume that you have done everything that is necessary to be done and you are allowed into the examination room. When you go into the exam room, you take your examination, and your examinations go through marking, they go through moderation, and the results are released. We publish our results through a student management platform. Before you leave at the end of the semester, make sure you contact admissions and get your credentials for accessing your results. Your results can be accessed from wherever you are. You could be in Maung, you could be in Francistown, you could be wherever. You need to be able to access your results. If you don't get your credentials, you are not going to be able to access your results. Chances of you missing any supplementary exams are very high. Therefore, I encourage you, contact admissions office. If you have forgotten, call them and get your credentials so that you will be able to access your exams, your results. Now, the results have been released. You either are proceeding, you proceed if your exam of module mark is 50% and above. If it's between 40 and 49, you are given an opportunity to supplement. If it's between 0 and 39, you repeat. Now, supplementaries usually happen 2 weeks after the publication of the results. We produce a timetable for supplementary exams. You need to check and make sure that your module is covered in there. If it is not covered, communicate to our office. It is your responsibility to make sure that you have all the necessary information when the supplementaries are going to be written, where are they written, and at what time. Sometimes students depend on other students to check for them. And sometimes other students give you the wrong information or they don't have the information. And you come to the office after the exams are written, you say, I've missed my supplementary. A supplementary examination that does not have a special examination does not have another special supplementary exam. If you miss it, you are repeating the module, and it is very costly to repeat the module. I encourage you to do everything you can to make sure you sit for supplementaries when you are given the opportunity. And I must also let you know that supplementary exams are marked out of 50. It is just to help you cross the line. We have had students who would come and sit for supplementary examinations when they're supposed to repeat, knowing very well that they've gotten less than 40. If that happens, your examination will not be marked. It will just be set aside because you have to repeat. And those that will be supplementing, you need to pay a supplementary fee that is determined by the accounts department. At the moment, it is at 150 kula, but you need to make sure you contact accounts to know how much you need to pay to sit for the supplementary exam. Your receipt and proof of payment from accounts is what will allow you into the exam room. You need to bring it with you when you come for your supplementary exams. During supplementary exams, we also have students who sit for special examinations. Special examinations are examinations that are written by students who, for valid reasons or valid mitigating circumstances, they have missed their main examinations at the sitting of the main exam. Valid mitigation circumstances could be you were sick and you were hospitalized, or you are a mother or a guardian for a minor, you were hospitalized with a minor, or there was a death in the family and you had to attend the funeral. But all that happens, there need to be proof. There need to be proof that, and you need to seek permission if you are going for a funeral. If you were hospitalized, you need to have a sick leave. It needs to reach our office within 14 days. In the days that you are living in, the other condition that could make you miss your examinations is when you are under quarantine because of COVID issues or you are self-isolating. Even in that case, you need to have proof from the ministry or health officials that you are self-isolating or you are under quarantine. Then we will arrange for you to sit for special examinations. Any other reasons? I forgot that the exam was today, I woke up late, I was late, my transport delayed. Those are not valid mitigating circumstances that you have missed the exam and you will get a 0 and you will have to repeat the module. If you are sitting for the special exam based on the mitigation circumstances that I've just given, then you don't need to pay and your exams will be marked at 100%, they are not kept at 50. Now, for students that are repeating, you follow the procedure that you followed when you are applying to come and study at IDM. You need to contact accounts, find out how much you need to pay to repeat the module. You pay, you go to admissions, then there's an application form you fill in, you apply to repeat, they admit you to repeat the module. And then you register and you repeat the module. You don't just go to class, sit in class and learn, and at the end of the day, when you're sitting for exams, your name is not in the register, you are not registered. We will not allow you to sit for the exam. You would have wasted your time. The other thing that I need to talk about is academic misconduct, because that is a big one. Academic misconduct, I usually say to students that is equivalent to murder when we're talking crime in academics. So I've had students who have academic misconduct come into my office and asking to be forgiven. We don't forgive murder, even if the relatives of the person who died don't want to press charges, the nation itself presses charges against you. So academic misconduct is covered clearly in your student handbook under clause 5. Everything that I've been saying is really covered there. We're talking making noise during the exam, we're talking refusing to cooperate during the exam, we're talking bringing unauthorized material during the exam. It could be your phone, it could be a piece of notes, in a piece of paper on your hand or wherever. When that happens, you'll be given a form, an academic misconduct form to fill during the exam to acknowledge the incident that happened. The evidence will be confiscated, even if it's your phone, whether it is off or not, whether you have used the notes or not. The rule says, or the regulation says, do not bring unauthorized material into the exam room. The fact that you brought it into the exam room, you have already committed an academic misconduct. And usually that leads to you being suspended for a year. And I urge all of you, do not try to commit any academic misconduct. We know all the tricks. Our invigilators are external stakeholders. They are not IDM employees. They are trained to administer assessments. Whether you leave the materials at the toilets, however you hide it, they are able to get it. And you get caught and you are suspended for a year. And it's a pity. Then you end up not being able to finish your course. Just to finish or to end what I'm saying, I'm referring you to clause 5 in the student handbook that you will be given if you don't have it yet. If you don't get it, please contact the admissions office, get your student handbook, familiarize yourself with it, read it. Clause 5 speaks about assessments. I need to emphasize that it is your responsibility to understand the regulations that are guiding you as you're studying here. It is your responsibility to know what is happening at what time. And if you are unable to understand or you don't get the information that you need, you can contact us at our office. It's located at the administration block or the admissions block where you processed your application. You come there, you'll find the assessment office. You can email us at idmassessmentbw.ac.bw with any queries that you have, and we'll be able to assist you. Or you can phone us at the moment at 361-2112 or 361-2172, and we'll be able to assist you. Our office is open for you during the course of your study. Even if you just want to come by and find out what we do, you are welcome to come to our office so that you can understand how we may be able to assist you during the course of your study. With that, I want to say thank you very much. Please stay safe, sanitize, wear your mask, and keep the distance. Thank you.
Good day, new IDM students. Welcome to IDM. It is a great pleasure for me to be here to welcome you. My name is Katlaho Hasinewe from the Student Welfare Office. With respect to audibility, I will take off my mask, but please do try as hard as you can to adhere to all COVID-19 protocols that you will find placed in IDM as you go about your studying. The Student Welfare Office is one of the most appropriately positioned entities in IDM to enhance learner support. This is to say, we are solely here as student welfare officers to ensure that your welfare in IDM as students is taken care of. The idea behind having this office is to prepare you that upon completion or upon graduating from your respective courses, you are holistically prepared to fit into the society. This is to say, we are talking about your personal branding, we are talking about your emotional intelligence, amongst other things. Now, the office runs in several key initiatives to ensure that your welfare is taken care of. The first one to start with is that of counseling. In counseling, we have two major aspects of counseling where we are talking of your academics, your academic and career guidance and counseling, and your personal, social, and emotional counseling. When we are talking about academic and career counseling, we are touching aspects of attendance, lesson attendance regulations. We are talking about truancy. We are talking about goal setting, time management, study skills. Now, when we are talking about the above, we are saying as early as you enroll in IDM or you start your lessons in IDM, ensure that you set your goals, both long-term and short-term. Start with the short-term to say, upon completion of my first year, I want to have achieved 1 and 2. And then also, you utilize techniques such as timetable, utilize your study skills. If you have a problem with drafting your timetable or you have a problem with coming up with study skills, do visit the Student Welfare Office. One other major aspect of the career guidance counseling is for you as a student to familiarize yourself with demands or expectations of the courses that you are enrolled in. Now, what I could allude to when I'm talking about implications of this is that try as hard as possible to do the research for yourself with help from your lecturers, other than running to your friends to ask and say, for example, how is epidemiology and public health? Yes, they can give you great advice concerning that, but most times you find that individual comfortability differs from person to person. One person might say epidemiology is easy. For you, it might not be an easy flow. So try as hard as you can to do the research for yourself. Visit your lecturers, ask your lecturers, come to the student welfare and learn more. When we move on to the social, economic, I meant to say emotional, the social, emotional, and personal counseling. We're talking things that affect you as a person, as an individual, be it relationships, be it conflict resolutions, be it personal growth like emotional intelligence, self-awareness. Are you aware of who you want to be upon completion of your study, other than being a degree holder in public health? Are you aware of where you want to be? Is your self-esteem in line with your self-awareness? Still on the personal or emotional and social counseling, we cover ranges such as your sexual health, your relationships. Are you forming healthy relationships as a student? Try as hard as you can, as appetizing as they may be. Try as hard as you can to run away from multi-concurrent relationships. With respect, sometimes you will find out that you will want to engage in such with respect to I'll have more money or I will have more status whatsoever. Try and run away from those types, because the package is just only to delay you. Plus, remember that your primary goal here in IDM isn't to be forming a lifelong relationship that will lead into marriage. Yes, that will come, but as a bonus. But your lifelong or your study long term is that you excel in your studies and you graduate with a suitable or a desirable cumulative point. Another point or another service that we have in the student welfare is that of health and wellness, life skills services. In this aspect, we are talking about, we offer services in HIV and AIDS counseling, health screenings, to ensure that you are aware of your status. It's very important in this era that as a person, you are aware of your status. We are talking alcohol and substance abuse. We are aware as IDM that you do engage or you do take in alcohol, but at what degree? Does your intake of such substances hinder your studies? If you find that you are battling with alcohol and substance abuse, feel free to come to the office to share and to talk about it with us. Our office holds confidentiality at the highest degree. With that, what I'm trying to say is what you will discuss with who you will discuss in the student welfare office is not going to be shared You will not be judged. You are an individual. You are bound to make mistakes. You are bound to meet stumbling blocks as you go on with your studies. Another aspect of health and wellness that we have is that of sick and maternity notes. This is to say, we appreciate that as students, you are bound to not feel well, get sick, require a maternity period. I'll start off with the sick notes. When you find yourself not feeling well, if you are home and it's in the morning you are not feeling well, do not run to say, I have a class at 7, so I have to go, only for you to come and, for instance, collapse in the class. Go to the medical facility, go to the clinic. When you get there, have them write a sick note to you and deliver it to the office, where we will then share it with the academic registrar, who will then pass on the message to the lecturers. This is just so that your absence in school is justified. Now, when we come to instances of maternity notes or maternity periods, what we are saying as the Student Welfare Office in IDM is that upon realization that you might need a maternity note, come to the Student Welfare Office, register with the office that I, Katleho, will need a maternity period. We will share more information with you with regard to maternity notes, and the same flow will go on. That is to say, we will then liaise with the academic registrar, who will then liaise with your lecturers. Currently, the institution has contracted, yes, MRI, Med Rescue International, solely to meet to meet the demands of your emergency cases. Like if you fall sick and you are in class and you need to be rushed to the hospital, what simply happens is, if you are in class, your lecturer or the student representative that you would have chosen or you have already chosen will then make or raise awareness to the Student Welfare Office that we have so and so in our class who's not feeling well at the moment. At that alert, we will run to the classroom to come and see and to come and have all the necessary details taken care of with help from MRI. All student welfare officers are trained on first aid. This is solely to ensure that once we meet an emergency situation, we are able to help you. We will not just leave you lying around and say we are waiting for the ambulance to come. We will help you with the first aid training that we have acquired. We will meet so that we will meet the need or the demand of the emergency at that time. One more thing that I can mention when it comes to sick notes and maternity notes. If you are a student and you know that you are living with any medical condition that is lifelong, come to the office, sensitize us of that condition. This is so that when we get a call and we're in the office and we get a call that Katlawa Hasanewe in Caravan and is not feeling well, we know that Katlawa Hasanewe has registered to say I'm an asthmatic student or I'm an asthmatic person. So when we come with our first aid bag, we know what type of emergency we're handling. Secondly, we can, with that information, we can call the ambulance from our office, not having to go to the scene and then that's when we call the ambulance. But when we have your information, immediately we are sensitized that Katlawa Hasanewe is not feeling well in caravan age. We know that Katlawa Hasanewe suffers from asthma attacks. We call an MRI to say so and so is not feeling well, but it's a patient or it's a student who's battling with asthma attacks. Another aspect of the Student Welfare Office that I'd love to talk to you about is that of special needs student services. This is to say, we have students we regard as students living with special needs or students who have special needs. Now our provision, the provision that we offer as student welfare starts as early as identifying. Some of you come with assessment reports, but we do appreciate the fact that you might realize your need as you are in school. We are not saying because you are not having an assessment report, don't come to the office. we do listen to you, we do give ear to you. So our services go and range as far as ensuring that your needs, as reflective on your assessment reports, your needs are met. This is to say, if you are recommended to be given special equipment like a tape recorder, we will meet that need with the assistance of external stakeholders. If your requirement or your recommendation says you need to be given extra time in your while writing exams, we will meet that need, or increased funds, anything of that sort. We also, one other service or one other initiative that we have is that we accommodate or we accompany you to special needs students to national commemoration events that are solely made for people living with special needs or students with special needs. Lastly, the other key initiative that I would love to talk about is that of mental health. Now that more importantly, now that we are living in the days of COVID-19 or coronavirus, you find out that your emotions are all over the place. You are wondering, am I going to complete my studies in time? Fear clouds you, it clouds your judgments, your concentration in class. If you find yourself battling with such, come to the Student Welfare Office where we will address such. If you know that you are somebody who has a history of mental health, still come to the class, to the office to say, we were once treated for 1, 2, 3. This might occur again or this might not, but I was just sensitizing you of it. The following are some of the initiatives that we have or that you will find while you are here in IDM. We have firstly the Green Couch. The Green Couch is one that we have students sit down and discuss situations or discuss cases or situations to say that have accepted them, that are similar. For example, if you say you are a depression survivor or you once tried to commit suicide, this I might add for your comfortability to say this is done at the consent of students. You will not be forced to be taking part in these initiatives just because we know you've had depression, for instance. So with Green Couch, we then sit down, you sit down as students, you deliberate more on how it affected you, how it affected your studies, what help you got, what you wish could have been done differently. And then another initiative that we have is the What I Wish I Knew initiative. This is where continuing students, that is to say second years, third years, fourth years, share with you first year students to say, I wish I was told 1, 2, 3 about starting school here in tertiary life, not necessarily in IDM, as a means to adapt to tertiary life. You might find that from home you come with these perceptions, or that to say you come with these perceptions where you have ideas that might not necessarily be true. Tertiary life is hard. Tertiary life is easy. Tertiary life doesn't require you to attend classes all the day. Normally you say, the What I Wish I Knew video will help disregard all that needs to be disregarded and applaud and appreciate all that needs to be appreciated. We then lastly have support groups. Support groups, these are just groups of students with similar cases, solely to ensure that you are able to appreciate whatever condition it is you are dealing with, and also to help you with aspect of universality. When I know that I'm dealing with depression, and I know that somebody else is dealing with it, and this is how they are doing it, it becomes really easy for me to cope, because I know I'm not alone in this. Somebody else has went through it, somebody else is still going through it with me, and somebody else has managed to get over it. One thing that I might have omitted when I was speaking about special needs student services, I omitted that of OVCs. Now we have registrations With time, we will release a notification. Once you have settled, we'll release a notification to say if you are an OVC student, if you are an OVC student, come to the student welfare office to register. When you register, we will only require your name, the name of your social worker, where you are registered as an OVC, and we will also implore to see, is there anything that you need help with, assistance with, as an OVC student? With that, I'd love to welcome you to IDM and assure you that with the many emotions that you may be feeling right now, anxiety, nervousness to starting tertiary life, with time you will realize that this is just the walk in the path that needs you to put in the extra hard work to go an extra mile with it. I'd also love to then say to you guys that the services that I've just mentioned here reflect as well in Francistown. In Francistown, you will meet the student welfare officer, Miss Marisa Twaba, alongside Mr. Ortaratang Olatotse, and their contact detail is 2410-300. In Gaborone, you will meet the student welfare officer, Miss Khaone Khausekwe. You will meet Miss Rosemary Shizake. You will meet Miss Boyfeng Neltipa and myself, Katlego Gasemeo. Our contact details are 36178. I'm sorry for that. It's 3612178, 3612184. We have offices both in main campus and in West Campus. In main campus, we are situated near the SRC office, and then in West Campus, we are situated in Block B4, Office 1.
Let me welcome you, all our newly enrolled learners to Francistown campus, and also welcome you to this virtual orientation. I want to congratulate you for the choice of the Institute, and the Institute will fully support you in your academic journey. I hope the city has already reiterated the unprecedented times that we are living in of the COVID infections. In fact, schools have become a hotspot for COVID infections. So I'm going to encourage everyone to keep to the protocols, regulations, always wear your mask like I'm wearing the mask, and then social distance at all times, hand sanitize, and our facility has hand sanitizers all over. So at any given point you want to hand sanitize, you'll find a facility. So for the purposes of this orientation, I'll remove the mask, okay? But in terms of conformance, you are required to put on your mask all the time, okay, at all given time, unless you are eating. Let me give you a very good synopsis of the Francistown facility. We have a top-notch facility that offers good student learning experiences, okay, which includes high-speed 24/7 internet connectivity at the hostels and in the facility on campus. We also have welfare and support services that are offered on campus and at the facility or at the hostel facility. I want to reiterate the fact that we are also conformance or accredited to Botswana Qualification Authority. We are also BOPS certified as a facility. Let me continue from the academic learning experience at Francistown campus. Like I said earlier on, we have a top-notch facility that is also COVID compliance. We had to be inspected and gotten approval from the Francistown City Council DHMT. We also have 2 high-performance laboratories for student learning experience and research, doing all the laboratory work that they might need. We have library facility with online resources where you can access all the resources from your convenient place. We also have sports facilities that houses all the sports that you can, all the outdoor sports that you can think of, from volleyball, football, basketball, and you name it. We also have some indoor sports like pool and chess. So the student has all the menu to choose from. Okay, and I also want to reiterate that our building has accessibility to wheelchair users, so we take care of learners with disabilities. I want to come to the academic approach, and in Francistown campus, the approach that we have adopted is a bit tertiary focused, where 80% of the job is done by the student and 20% by the facilitator. The 80% of include face-to-face learning and then self-learning. Self-learning is where you do your independent work as an individual, whether you use the Wi-Fi, whether you use the library, whether you research back home, but it's self-learning. So this take cognizance of your age, that you can do your work independently on your own, provided you get guidance from your facilitators. We are also in transition where we want to focus more on online learning. Online learning, teaching and learning has become a new approach that we are adopting. Okay, this is in conformance with the fourth industrial revolution demands, and then the IDM strategic plan to be the leading provider of education in the entire region. And then also COVID has actually forced us to go online. In case there's a lockdown, we must be ready. We must be ready to provide business continuity. Okay, so online it's something that you need to be conversant with, and the students need to be, you know, assisted or supported to learn to use these devices. You know, it's a new form of learning which actually complements the face-to-face learning. But in terms of mode of deliveries, we have 3 modes of deliveries. First one is the face-to-face, which is the familiar one, where we scheduled some modules and then you come to the facility, you meet your lecturers and then they facilitate. We also have online where we interact with you off-site. And then we have the block release where we manage some modules over the weekend, especially for people who are working, and that's taking care of them. And then in a nutshell, I just want to reiterate that academic programs, IDM academic programs, prepare a well-rounded, confident, market-ready, flexible learner who is well-suited for any workplace environment. As such, I'm proudly confident that IDM graduate has strong, I would say, values, and the following values you most probably going to find in an IDM graduate. One of them is intellect. What is all that intellect? Intellect is where we really tap more into intelligent quotient, where it's born knowledge, reflection, overall understanding of the universe. This is our core area for our students. And then the next one, in terms of profiling our students, we deal more with character. This is where we do a lot of social skills, personal branding, competitive edge, and then market intelligence. You'd hear a lot from some of our students on these 2 aspects. Okay, this is in terms of character. We're working more in what we call adaptive quotient, and as such, I want to summarize by saying at IDM we grow great minds. Thank you.
IDM
Hello, new IDM students. Welcome to this virtual orientation. My name is Sipio Mandave. I'm the admissions officer for Francistown campus. I am here to explain the processes and procedures of admissions office and basically what is expected of you as a student and what we expect from you from our office. I'll remove the mask for the purpose of presentation. The first item that I'm going to talk about is registration and re-registration. I would like to believe that all of you have gone through the process of registration through the assistance of the IT officers. From now on, the next semester you'll be expected to enroll yourself online without any assistance. So there will be a period, days that will be set aside at the beginning of the semester where you'll be expected to register yourself online. Everyone is expected to adhere to these dates and make sure that they register within the stipulated dates. Once you have registered yourself, your registration is not complete until the admissions officers have confirmed you. That's when you'll be able to see your modules and be able to enroll into your classes. But for you to be confirmed, you need to have passed at least 50% of the modules that you have enrolled for the previous semester. So it is very important that you make sure that you pass your modules. And those who have failed to pass 50% of the modules that they have enrolled for, they will be expected to repeat the semester. So for you to repeat the semester, you also need to reapply at admissions. You're expected to fill the reapplication form and then you'll be admitted. That's when you'll be joining your new class. The next item that I'll be talking about is class attendance. You are expected to attend at least 80% of the classes. But we know that sometimes unforeseen circumstances can force you not to attend classes. That's where admissions office comes in. You are expected to write a formal communication to admissions office explaining that you won't be able to come to class, and there should be evidence. For example, if you are sick, we expect you to have a sick note attached to your letter. Moving on. I'm also going to talk about withdrawal from studies and transfers. Sometimes you are forced again to withdraw from school. Maybe you are sick or because of work commitments. So you are also expected to write a formal letter when you withdraw from school. You don't just withdraw. This will help us to know that a certain student is no longer attending, so that those who are sponsored, we can be able to notify your sponsors. And those who are paying for themselves, we can stop charging them because they are no longer part of the institution. Those who wish to transfer from one campus to another, as you are aware that in Botswana we have IDM Francistown and IDM Gaborone. When you wish to transfer from one campus to the other, please note that the reasons should be valid enough. That's when we would allow you to transfer from one campus to the other. And you are only allowed to transfer once. And you are expected to again write a formal letter explaining why you need to transfer from one campus to the other. And for you to transfer from one campus to the other, there should be a similar group in the campus that you wish to transfer to. For example, if you are doing year 1 public health, there should be a same group that is doing the level of study and the course in the campus that you want to go to. The other thing, once a semester ends, from now until you finish your studies, results will be released, and each individual is expected to view their own results. You'll be given credentials, login credentials by admissions. We'll email them to you, so you have to make sure that you have received that email. If not, you have to come and see us so that we assist you. Please remember that the login credentials will be given to you for free once, and those credentials you're going to use them your entire stay in IDEM. So you have to keep them safe, save them somewhere where you always refer to them every time you have to view your results. Because when you request to be sent the logins again, we are going to email them to you at a charge, or we are going to print them for you at a charge. So you have to take care of your login credentials. I'm also going to talk about the allowances, especially for students who are sponsored by the Department of Tertiary Education and Financing. The admissions office is the one that is responsible to make sure that your allowances are credited into your accounts every month. So what we usually do is that every semester, at the beginning of every semester, we send a list of all students who have registered, who are sponsored by DTF, to the sponsor. So it is very important as a student to make sure that you register on time so that the list can be sent on time. In turn, then your allowances will be credited on time. Remember, for your name to be sent to DTF, you need to have passed 50% of your modules, like I've already mentioned. And those who are supplementing, your names will not be sent until the results for the supplements has been released. The list of the list that we send to DTF also has the accommodation status in which every student has to choose whether they want to be on campus or off campus. Please note that the accommodation status can only be changed after every academic year. You cannot change between an academic year. So for example, if you are doing first year and you have decided that you are going to be an on-campus student, it means you're going to be an on-campus student until you finish your first year. You can only change when you move on to the next year. It is your duty as a student to make sure that you notify the admissions office if your allowance has not been credited, so that we make a follow-up with the sponsor. Okay, and moving on, how do we communicate to students as the admissions office? We communicate to you through the Moodle platform, which is known as Setlhare. We also use the student emails that were created for you by the IT officers. We also sometimes call or use bulk SMS. With that short presentation, I would like to welcome you to IDEM, and I encourage you to feel free to come to our offices whenever you have any inquiries or questions. I hope your stay in IDEM will be a pleasant one. Thank you.